Hey, lettuce heads, quick community note here before jumping into Sand Valley. So this deep dive got pretty deep and it ended up being over 2 hours long, so we decided to split it up into two parts. Part one's going to take on the resort overview, the Sandbox, and Sedge Valley. Part two is going to drop next week, where we're going to take on Mammoth Dunes, Sand Valley, and then the total resort experience overall and closing thoughts. Hope you enjoy part one, and as always, stay plugged. Mr. Puffin, we ready?
5,
Yeah.
4, 3,
Don't disrespect the countdown.
2,
All right.
1.
5, 4, 3.
3.
Lettuce heads, we are back with another special edition of Please Let Us Golf, the podcast. This is Wisconsin Part 2. We gave you the Aaron Hills deep dive. That thing's popping off. It's caused some opinions, some emotions out there in the social sphere. Look, it was as comprehensive and fair and above board of any golf product and review you're going to see. I think it was 85% positive, but we took our criticisms where...
Listen, golf is an emotional sport. It's an emotional game. There's plenty of room for takes like that. We're not robots.
But we're not talking Aaron Hills today. We are going to Sand Valley, and then we're going to have a part 3. It's going to be Lasonia Links, and then we're going to wrap it up with everybody's favorite, Let Us Rank. Well, we were going to power rank this trip and these courses.
Wow.
But tonight, we're doing Sand Valley Resort. So, guys, what is Sand Valley? Opened in 2017. It's the second Dream Golf property. If you don't know what Dream Golf properties are, this is the Kaiser family. Mike Kaiser. They launched. They were the brains, the genius behind Bandon Dunes. So this is their second property that they went forward with. It's in Nakusa, Wisconsin, a couple hours northwest of Milwaukee, a few hours east of Minneapolis. But yeah, the property's essentially got 5 courses, right? You got Sand Valley, Mammoth Dunes, the Sandbox, Sedge Valley, and the Lido. We're going to go through all the courses we played. We're going to break them down. We're going to give you the operations, everything you need to know about the resort. But community note, the Lido is the only one that is actually a private golf course that about a third of the tee sheet they open up to resort guests. We did not play the Lido, so we're not going to deep dive it here. It's ranked in top 100 world golf, whatever. It opened 12 months ago. I'll just say this. Golf sickos we know have said it's super hard and they love it. We talked to about 20 people on property, a combination of people that just played it, caddies, staff. I'll just say it did not get one positive comment out of the 20 folks we spoke to, but we're not here to make a take on that. We're just saying, hey, if you can get the tee time and it's your first time out there, go do it. But we're going to focus on the publicly accessible courses, all of them ranked in the top 100 in the US. So we want to do our due diligence. Normally at this point, I'd kick it around the horn. You got the full team here: Goldie, Golfberg, Adam, Jewel. Jewel's coming from a Home Depot doing some renovations at the house, so don't judge him for that background. We got a special guest tonight. I hope it doesn't impact the relationship of Mr. Puffin back there. But we got Mr. Mammoth from Mammoth Dunes, so he's going to be chilling with us, checking in on him.
Puffin's a team player. He loves it.
Okay, pro animal. We like that.
Oh yeah.
So let's kick it over to Mr. Golfberg for some first impressions driving up to Sand Valley.
Yeah, Sand Valley. It's totally in the middle of nowhere. Similar to Bandon Dunes. The difference between Bandon is you're driving through Oregon, which is just some of the most beautiful, terrain in the country. But we're back in rural Wisconsin. But we're excited. You pull into the gates, kind of industrial looking buildings. You can't really see what's behind it. Kind of blocks it like a ridge. But then you get up into the property. You walk through and you walk out onto really cool, gigantic putting greens. And then just these expansive views of multiple holes. You see the 18th on Mammoth. You see the first on Mammoth. Well, that's because you're looking out on Mammoth Dunes from the main clubhouse and the putting green. Stunning views, though. Tons of different colors. Like the natural terrain there is really kind of breathtaking. Obviously the topography is really cool. Cool looking spot, kind of modern looking, whatever. The golf holes look super intriguing. We're ready to go. The ranges is a short walking distance. Just excited to play. Decent first impression walking in.
Heck yeah. All right, Mr. Operations, Jules. So we know that this is a dream golf property, and everybody's comparing it to Bandon. So, what's your take, thoughts overall on the operations?
The best spot on property was Craig's porch, which is kind of where we first were introduced to operations of this entire facility. It sits up at the highest point on the entire property. You're looking out over Sand Valley. You can see a little bit of sedge as well, and it's just a beautiful view. I think that to me is what makes this place special. We sat out there in some Adirondacks. We had $3 beers, spotted cows, dollar tacos. I mean, it was a really cool setup. And that was our
Mhm.
first introduction. We went out there and putted a little bit on the practice putting green there. But overall, operations, I feel like we didn't really get to experience all of it. You know, we had a couple dinners on property, we had some drinks, and of course the golf course. But I would say operations were good. I still feel like they were kind of getting into what they're going to be doing in 10 years from now. They're still feel like a baby in an infant stage, but operations were good, very attentive, very quick, and the costs were incredible. Um, I would also say that the staff was just generally like in a good mood and willing to be there till 8 o'clock at Craig's Porch. Like they didn't really care. So I really enjoyed being out there, but the place just felt very informal, which I kind of liked. You know, you go to Bandon Dunes, it's all there for you, and they are like catering to everything you want. Sand Valley was a little different. So I don't know. I don't know if it was the informality, like even the food truck at the Sandbox, but you know, I enjoyed it. Everything was put together pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much second everything you just said. I would say I would foot stomp again those on course prices. Look, you're paying a lot to play golf, so it's pretty cool that you can load up on. Is you got $10, you're getting a couple beers, a Gatorade, some protein balls, and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like that's pretty effing awesome. So good on them for that.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, you look like you
Agreed.
wanted to chop in something there, man. You
No, I
Mr.
was just
Uncrustable?
I was just gonna say that the dollar tacos, like you hear dollar tacos and you think it's just gonna be like a little regular.
Crap.
I mean, it was good. Those were
Yeah.
good tacos.
Yeah, but you're talking the protein balls, PB and J's, banana, like everything's like a buck, and even drinks.
Mhm.
It's dollar. So it was dollar Gatorades, is $3 spotted cows. I mean, you go with the 10 spot,
Yeah.
you're fully loaded, man. Like that's a super super awesome at because like let's be real, some of these other resorts you're hearing
Well,
$9 Gatorades and shit, man. It's really ridiculous.
not only $9 Gatorades, and they got AI and friggin' robots running the place, cutting grass and shit. You know, Sand Valley's ran by people and
Yeah,
nice,
there's
very accommodating people. We had so many good conversations with the caddies who were chilling out, the different starters, the people literally working at Craig's Porch or whatever that was. Craig's Ranch. What's it called? Sorry.
Craig's
Craig's
porch.
Ranch, yeah, Craig's Porch.
But
Craig's porch.
TPC.
yeah,
Craig
so
Ranch.
obviously a big part of operations, and the people there are super pleasant.
Yeah,
And
that's
even the
one thing.
upscale Italian restaurant wasn't overly pricey either.
No,
And you know, really good service.
And
And
they'll
unlimited
let you
shredded
sit.
cheese.
They'll also let you sit in there and then like switch to the other restaurant and then maybe even like
Oh
switch
yeah,
back. And they'll bring
yeah.
your waters back and forth for you. And they're very,
you can
very
do
nice.
what you want to.
What you want? Yeah, but Dream Golf gets it, man. It's like the Chick-fil-A model where they don't mess around when it comes to the people operations side. You definitely feel right at home with every interaction you have with everyone. That's as good as it gets.
They just need an old shoe running the place. Where's that
That's
guy though?
yeah, no old shoe. A lot of young lads. Other thing, we're here to talk golf, but look, if you're
Hmm.
into other stuff, they got like grass tennis courts. They have
Oh,
indoor
it's cool.
courts. Yeah, they got a bunch of crap going on there that I thought like who's going to do that, but there was a ton of people out there doing it. So you
I
got a
gotta be
lot of
honest,
other amenities.
but that's what we're talking about for a second, because usually I feel a little golf snobbish and a little golf purist. And so you're thinking, oh, they've got these grass tennis courts and this whole like restaurant facility that's kind of labeled, or what am I trying
Yeah,
to say, like marketed, got it like a
yeah.
tennis shtick going on. But once you're in there, it's got a totally cool vibe and the food is great. And you look down at this super like old school, like indoor tennis court thing they got. It looks like it was from 100 years ago. And people are out there, they're all dressed in white playing tennis, and it's just, I thought it was a cool addition to the place.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got a lot of golf to talk about. It's fun as much as we could talk for
I was
6
going to make
hours on operation.
another tennis point, but fuck it. Yeah, let's move
Yeah,
on.
let's
Golf.
let's no double faults here, right? So
God.
that being said, that being said, let's kick it down. Our first course that we took on, we'll do them in order of that we actually played, and we're each going to take one. So Adam, the Sandbox.
Yeah, so the Sandbox opened in 2018. It's a 17-hole par 3 course. Basically, the Kaisers came to Bill Core, Ben Crenshaw, and said, hey, we've got this 25-acre plot of land that's just adjacent to Mammoth Dunes. We got to do something with it, right? Fit as many great golf holes in this small plot of land as you can. Like, if you can get 30, get 30. If it's only 6, it's 6. And of course, they ended up with 17. But what Core and Crenshaw did, I think, was like absolutely incredible. Because really, that plot of land, it's not a super dramatic piece of the property like you have at Mammoth or Sand Valley or the other courses where you have these massive sand dunes, elevation changes. It's relatively benign, but I think what they did, it's the best collection of greens on the property. And look, I'm not trying to get a little hyperbolic here, but I think it's the best par 3 course in the country.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's quite the intro.
I think it is. And I know that's a shot at Bandon Preserve, but when you think about how fun it is, and no shoes required, the creativity, the variety, the collection of how great the greens are strategically wise, I mean, it can't be beat. And what's crazy is what Core and Crenshaw did. Like, they took this piece of property that, like I said, was not super dramatic, and it just proves that these courses should exist everywhere. Like, this shouldn't just be in Wisconsin at a golf resort. Like, this should be in our own backyard. This should be all over the place. We talk about, everybody talks about growing the game. Like, this is how you do it. Like, these par 3 courses that have these unbelievable greens and they're super fun. You can play them in 2 hours. Like, that's what it's all about. But yeah,
That did feel like an epiphany moment. Like, hell yeah, why aren't there more of those? But you're right. It was definitely tied for the most fun we had out there the whole time, if not the most fun course. Hitting just crazy shots. And I might back you up on that being a more dynamic course than the Preserve, at least. I mean, the views at the Preserve are a joke. You really can't compete with that. But
yeah, I think
that's hella fun. You're right. Every hole was fun.
I think what makes a great par 3 course is one of two things. You have to have either like dramatic land / views, which Bandon Preserve for sure does have, or you have to just have like insane, fun, strategic greens, which the Sandbox has, like everywhere.
So Adam, I did a great job of staying silent through this Bandon Preserve slander, but I'll say this. Those 2 par 3 courses absolutely shit on every other par 3 course I've ever played. And it's weird too. Even when you say par 3 course, like guys that aren't as much as sickos as us, they kind of are like, oh, par 3 course. Like, they don't. When you experience the top level of these short courses and you realize not only are they fun, but it is real golf too. Like, people look, oh yeah, there's a 30-yard hole, but I mean, you're hitting like multiple option, risk reward, creative shots. The bets are flying. It's as fun as you can get. I mean, I'm not going to restate all the points you made. Now, the
I guess you have to enjoy hitting wedges, right?
you do, but think
And you
also
should.
but there's some longer holes too. I mean, the longest is like 150 or something like that. So that's one difference with the preserve, though, with the wind and the length. Like, the preserve, you could probably go play the sandbox with 3 clubs. The preserve,
Well,
you gotta you better bring your bag besides maybe lumber.
I'll push back though. I mean, the sandbox, you've got uphill, you've got downhill. You can hit high lofted wedges. You can hit runners. You can putt it.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
there's a tons of different shots that are required out there at the sandbox. 40-yard shots,
Yeah.
150-yard shots. It's just a lot of variety.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I guess when you compare that against the preserve, preserve feels more serious.
Yeah.
Like,
It's probably less fun. It's like
Yeah.
the views are carrying you through it. Jewel, what you think?
Yeah, you're strapping in for the preserve. I think adding the extra 4 holes at the sandbox was really nice. But I wish we could go back to number 3 at the sandbox. I would have putted it. I think it would have been kind of cool to go off that bank. None of us putted that.
so that's a great segue, Jewel, because I was gonna go through some of the holes that really caught my eye, and 3 might be my favorite. 3 and 8 are pretty close. 3 and 14.
Which
But
one was 8? 8 was the Barrettes.
8 was the Buretts, and 14 was the. So real quick, so there's 6 holes that are what we in the nerd golf architecture world call template holes, and three's one of them. It's a maiden hole, and so that's the one where you have the 2 back tiers on the back of the green, and then the front of the green is obviously on the lower level. And our pin that day was on the lower level in the front, and it kind of seemed like an easy shot. It was playing like, I don't know, 50 yards or so, and it's like, okay, just spin one off of the back ridge, and it's just going to come down. I got caught on the top top ridge and had a nasty putt coming down, but
Same.
yeah, that green, absolute insanity.
Yeah, it's since there's 17 of them, I can't I don't want to go through every single one I like, but yeah, that one was cool. I'd say, yeah, I kind of was where you were at with the 8th hole, but dude, I would just say more on a general note. It was sick that like almost every green had multiple options of mounds that you could use and entry points. I mean, we have a ton of footage to where you see us taking different lines to where it's like, I didn't see that, and these cut spin one off where you can go direct at it. And let's talk, hey, real shout out to agronomy. Like, man, it was very hot, dry summer out there. That piece of property was immaculate, really pretty. Firm turf, but you could still get a good compression off of it, which you needed because you needed to be hitting some sexy spinners all over that thing. But
we're not hitting off mats. It's a big deal. Just to hit on one hole, I did want to talk about 14. It's a template hole, Lion's Mouth. That's the one we putted.
Uphill?
That's the one we putted.
It's the one we putted.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Super cool downhill. You've got that bunker that's just right there in the middle of the green, and then the green just kind of wraps around that bunker. And we all putted. It was, man.
It was fun.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like that is one of the things that makes like these par 3 courses like so much fun. You just do whatever you want. If you want to putt it.
And if you got 17 holes, you don't mind wasting one putt, and not that it's a waste, but
no, I know what you mean.
Easy decision to make. By the way, Adam, what does that mean, template hole? I mean, I know you.
Yeah, so our godfather of golf, Mr. CB McDonald, so he kind of brought over what we call these template holes from the UK, kind of around the turn of the century. He was the golf architect that built National Golf Links of America, and you just have these certain holes that are super strategic and well known, and they're kind of just littered throughout the rest of the country now. But he was kind of the guy that brought him over you've got the Redan, you've got the Biarritz, you got the Alps hole, which there's an Alps hole on the Sandbox.
Wow, this guy's
as
like the
well.
Shakespeare of golf. Just created all the narratives. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, that's a sick cut. There's a pod promo.
Yeah, that's interesting. That makes
yeah,
sense.
That's great. So, Aaron, you said there's a couple holes you wanted to maybe point out.
I was surprised you skipped hole number one. I just thought even the first hole was it has a cool look and feel to it. And the guy's going, listen, this is one of those potential hole-in-one holes. All you got to do is hit it on the left side. It's going to run down the bank. It's like, oh shit. So I hit it right at the hole, obviously like an idiot. It goes, but one of our guys, Mr. Adam, puts it exactly where you're supposed to go. And we had a moment. I mean, it just to start the day, and it zoomed right by. And what did it have? 4 feet from the hole. Damn, that was cool. And there's just all these, and we should talk more about one if you want to, but there are just so many different banks and places you can. And this was our first course experience, having come from Erin Hills, which just kicked my butt. Now all of a sudden you get to like be strategic and think, oh, aim up there if you want, or hit it over there, and it kind of they're running to the hole as opposed to running away from the hole. Sometimes. It just golf became really, really fun.
Aaron, the reason I skipped the first hole is because I walked off that hole like wanting to murder you.
Yeah,
that was like
I had a near hole in one, and I had, I don't know, like 3 feet left for birdie, and I'm standing over my putt, and Aaron says he's getting TPC Sawgrass vibes here, which, you know, if you haven't seen that video, yeah,
you heard that,
and then I, you know,
let's context. So, not believe it or not all the lettuce heads know the story of Adam at Sawgrass, but 17th hole Sunday pin, a couple days before my wedding. Adam stuffs it. It was right when they're setting up for the tournament. We got everyone's clapping. You can't even see where it landed. It's because that Sunday pin from where the tee location was. We get up there. He's got, I don't know, 3 feet right under the hole. We got it on vid. Misses the putt. So, of course, similar look on a less iconic hole here. And Aaron, right when he's over the putt, goes getting 17th at Sawgrass vibes. And it's pretty similar.
I would have never done that to you if it wasn't a par 3 course. That's a fact. Yeah. It was more of like you could have just stepped up and laughed and then redid it, but I thought you were going to make it. I'm sorry. That was still rude, I admit.
Thank you for a minute.
I was just getting over it, but now that you've brought it back up, you know.
No, you brought it back up. I was trying to skate right by. I just wanted to talk about your almost hole in one and then move on to hole number 2.
There were some ejection holes out there too. I will say that. So the 5th, I know I'm getting on the whole template hole thing, but everyone's heard of the rolled hole at the old course, right? So the 5th at the Sandbox is a rolled hole.
That's it was that the one that had the back left pin that day?
Yeah, that was a super hard pin.
Yeah,
but
for some people,
maybe 9 might be the hardest hole we played. So that was the massive green. And that pin was
sayonara.
You had to land it in like a 3x3 foot circle. I mean,
and I did, and it still came back. You're right. It's not like you could attack it and get away with things. You could just get the ball going towards the hole, and then sometimes it went 50 feet further.
Yeah, so you brought up 5 and 9 were the two by far and away hard. Like 5 was the hardest shot to execute. 9 was the only one that was borderline impossible. I'm not really sure with that back pin. Yeah, where you were landing that ball without ripping it back down the slope or going over the green. So, but it was awesome, man. I absolutely loved it. All right, guys, awesome. So, stamp of approval. We all love the Sandbox. Not only don't play it, you have to play it. And if you're there, we'd probably say play it multiple times. Play it as much as you can while you're there. It's so much fun. All right, so over to Mr. Golfberg. After the Sandbox, we stretch out, we get the energy back up. We go over to Sedge Valley. Tell us about
Sedge Valley, home of the Fox. So this was definitely my favorite day of the trip. And part of it was the combination of Sandbox and Sedge, and the idea that you go in the morning, you warm up your wedges on this course, and then you take it to a course that's going to need some wedges. And I was able to execute one on the first hole where, typically I might have fanned that or, chunked it or something, but I was ready to roll. and gave myself a birdie putt, even though I didn't make it. But let's back up a second. So Sedge is notorious for being, it's a short course. And when you're kind of scoping out Sand Valley from afar, thinking, okay, I'm going to play this course and I'm going to play Mammoth. And you're like, what the hell's up with this course? It's 5,800 yards. It's par 68. So totally untraditional. But I guarantee if I just dropped you any random golfer there, having known nothing about it, at the end of 72, you might go, that was one of the most unique courses I ever played. But I don't think you would be like, that was short. No way.
Not short at
No
all.
chance. It's so crazy deceptive in how they routed it. I mean, he's a genius, obviously, Doak, who created this course.
Tommy D.
Absolutely. One of the coolest things I found out about it is that, and apparently he doesn't do this every time, but this course started with the greens. They found the 18 places where they were going to have these cool greens and then just built the holes out from there. So, and he thinks it's the nicest greens on the property. I know they were hella fun to play. That's for damn sure. But this whole concept of not being obsessed with the idea of yardage and also par 72, I'm now I think it's brilliant. I live in the Pacific Northwest, close to Seattle, and all of the golf courses are par 72 and like 6,000 yards. That's public golf out here. Now they gimmick them up and there's trees everywhere. And so they're still hard, but like if any one of these courses should have been like, let's work with the land. They all feel like they're 18 holes on a property big enough for 15 holes. Truly, that's how it feels. And some of the country clubs are even like that. Why not like shorten everything, condense it, create a par 67, utilize the land a little better, and people would actually have fun golfing. These holes don't run into each other. You're not doing the thing where like you're on the tee, but you got to wait for someone to get off the green. Anyway, so I just think the whole philosophy is super cool. The execution is just world effing class. It is one of the most phenomenal courses I've ever taken in. The views are nuts. We had this cool starter who was apparently an ex-PGA pro.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know, Andrew, if you got a comment, you can jump in.
No, I was just going to say that guy was awesome, man. Like he was what a starter you want him to be.
Absolutely. And he got under your skin. Not, he just challenged you a little bit right out the gate with, hey, the guys before you, they were playing they're committed to playing the back tees the whole day. What was the story? I can't even remember it now.
Yeah, he went there. He was just kind of doing that starter shtick of like, hey, I know the card looks short, but you're playing it how it's set up is really 6,000. It's going to feel really long out there. But luckily, we all pipe drives, and he's like, oh, y'all going to be fine out there.
We did. We all hit some real nice drives. And just to kind of dive into some of the holes, the first was fun, but the second was the first hole that kind of hit me, where I was like, holy shit, you get up onto the tee box and it's the funkiest looking ridge, this big, it's like a double ridge, and incredibly expansive view, and it's a challenging tee shot, but it's also comfortable because you got some room. And you just kind of, I know a lot of people think 3, 4, and 5 are super, super fun, but I thought the course really got interesting when we hit the double par 3s with hole number 8. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts about like some of the first few par 4s.
Yeah, I would say just one. By the way, fantastic rundown and overview of Sedge, but trying to do some aesthetic differences just to scope it for the people that might be listening. So this is what they call like a Heathland style golf course where so you go look it up, go Google it. Adam, give them a textbook definition of it. But you kind of have these like smaller profile trees. It kind of has like a links adjacent, firm and fast feel to it. But to your point, like right out of the gate, like you could just see the aesthetic difference relative to the rest of the property. It still had some of the bold sand features, but you could tell that Heathland vibe just made it feel a lot different than what we experienced the next day, and even different from the Sandbox for a little bit. But yeah, that opening run of holes, I was kind of you preempted it. Like I felt like the course really hit its stride on hole 5. But it doesn't mean there wasn't cool ones to begin with. But man, when you hit that first part, like spoiler alert, these par 3s, when I just went back and looked at the footage, fucking slapped. Like 5.
There's 5 of them.
Five's the best on property.
5.
Absolutely.
Well, let's walk through them for a second then, because we got a lot of good par 3 footage. But
Yeah.
5, and then you had back to back on 8, 9, wasn't it?
No, it was 7 and 8.
7 and 8. My bad.
Yep.
And then on the back
13.
9, 13, and what was the other
15.
one? 15. Yeah, I guess
Mhm.
we do a little scorecard check there. But yeah, so Adam, you love 5. I mean, 5 was sick, but I mean, it's just Doak just knows how to do par threes. And he's
Well, it's
not
also
afraid.
fun because it's a 9 or an 8 iron, and you're hitting over a big cavern.
Yeah.
The footage doesn't do it justice.
Yes,
Onto
beautiful.
this kind of thin green, though there is like a big bank off the back left, and
But
it felt hittable though.
I mean, it's long. It's like, I mean, wide.
Right.
What would you say? It's like 50 yards wide, but it's protected by bunkers
Mhm.
everywhere. You definitely got to hit your number. Jewel, what do you think of that opening stretch for Sedge getting us to 5?
I really enjoyed 2 as well. I think 3 of us ended up staying to the left side. Aaron, I think you were on the right side on 2. I thought that was a really cool hole. 4
Yeah, I
was
was
also
blind.
a really cool par 4 as well.
Yeah.
Before you got to number 5. That green was pretty intense, and the
On
surrounding
4,
of that green. Weren't
4
you
was
back right? And you hit a sick shot into the bank up, and
Yeah.
it bounced up 1 and hopped into
Oh,
like 8 feet, and
and
that was
then
a
a
cool
butterfly
hole.
attacked me.
Well, that was the first hole that I thought, like, holy shit, these greens have a lot of thud. They're new, but I
Mhm.
really love that sound, and those greens were
Yeah.
really pure. Adam's right though. 5 was phenomenal. Although I was in a weird place on number 5. Number 6 is when Adam told me I needed to quit being a little bitch and like enjoy the
Well,
rounds.
Well, 5 is because if you squint hard enough in the 5 tee box, you can see the first refreshment stand just beyond the
Good
green
point.
off to the left. And we knew Jewel just needed to get his ass there.
Yeah,
Once
he
he
needs
did,
to work out.
got a little,
What's
got a drink
crazy
back in his
is
hand.
what's crazy is 5 wasn't even a part of the original routing. That hole wasn't even part of Doak's original routing. I mean, like, and the only reason it became part of the routing is he didn't like I think there was a very long walk from what is now 4 green to 6 tee. And so to kind of break that up, that's how you got 5.
Cool.
But I can't imagine that course without that hole, because that's just
the course is.
I think it's best par 3 on property.
So I know we're going to talk par 3.
That's interesting you say that. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, Aaron. I was going to say, I know we're going to talk the par 3s a lot and everything beyond, but we kind of drive by 3, which I'm not saying I love the hole, but just for context sake, it's this big, I mean, it's a big golf hole. Like, the view's insane. It's got a bunker that, I mean, off on the left, that's like 40 feet tall. I don't know, like 80 feet wide. Even though my math's been questioned today, it's a massive bunker.
Yeah.
And if you hit it up, it's a great strategic hole because you and Jewel hit it out to the right. So at least you could kind of see your entry point into this green, which was diabolical firm run away from you. But me and Adam have this completely blind shot. All you have is in the trees. There's like a 80, 100-foot X-Men looking logo that we didn't even see until Aaron, you were like, hey guys, there's your target. We're like, what are you talking about? It like blends in with the foliage, but there's a target sign there. And yeah, we got some cool tracers going right at it. So overall, like the hole was just, again, I guess what you would say, especially 2 and 3, you start getting the Doak strategy. 4, you get this Doak green that's almost like 6 at Pack Dunes.
Well, let me take that, because I think, to me, my interpretation of Doak or how he sets up strategy really started too on hole number 6. Now you've got one of these short par 4s, and the way you kind of tee off, you're sort of off to the left side, and the green's a little bit off to the right, so it's veering left to right, but you feel like you can just launch a cut driver, just aim a little left and launch it. And I guess if you hit it perfect, you could probably hit the green. But what I did is I ended up fanning it a little bit, and there's grass over there. So like, oh, I'm fine. I'm probably like 50 yards away just because it rolled out a little bit, but I'm fine. I don't know if any of us went left, but if I could play it again, I'd hit a 4-iron left, and then you have this perfect view of the green, and you just get to hit into it the right way. Instead, I've got one of my least favorite shots in golf, as I talked about on a different podcast, that 40-yard nippy little wedge to an elevated green now, because from that side, you're much lower. And there's 2 giant bunkers in front of it. There's a big old bunker in the back, which I ended up in and was just completely screwed. Yeah. So it's just one of those examples, like, good luck. Take a driver. It's a short hole. but that second shot's going to suck if you haven't set yourself up or don't hit a fantastic wedge.
So that's where the distance things comes in, because people go, that's a 280-yard hole, whatever. It's like, that's what it is. It's not really a drivable par 4. You're physically capable of hitting a golf ball there, but really you shouldn't. But it just, that's what it always keeps you on your toes of making a decision of where do I want to bite off more of this apple. And I think Adam and Julie, you guys caught one of those bunkers right in front of the green, and that's, Julie, you hit a pretty sexy little shot there, but I think Adam got doked a little and sent it into the mound behind. But
I like how doked can be a good thing or a bad thing, by the way.
Yeah,
it's like aloha.
True. I love getting doked.
Oh yeah,
doke me.
Either way,
Adam and I were like 3 feet away from each other in that bunker, and I think he had a hit first, and it was not a good thing for me to watch before I hit.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I probably screwed you up too. I developed the sand yips in Sand Valley, unfortunately. But just rolling through. What, Andrew?
Yeah, no, I was going to say that's a tough place to do it at, because there's a lot of sand.
There's a lot of sand. Well, I put the wrong wedge in my bag going out there. I am a self-saboteur. Like maybe I just like complicated shit, just like complicated shirt patterns I've noticed. But anyway. So rolling through this course, there's a double par 3 setup on 7 and 8. I don't need to talk about 7 unless anyone needs to. Going once, going twice. But 8, oh my God, what a cool looking hole. So it's like an optical illusion in a good way, though, because it's a downhill par 3 that's pretty long, 200 something. But the way the mounds on the left and right come up, it's like that train track illusion. Everything looks like it's going towards the hole. You feel like you could launch it right, left, high. It doesn't matter. Just get it going, and it'll make its way there. And sort of, I think at least 3 or 4 of us executed something decent there. But that was kind of the shot that actually turned my round around, for lack of a better word, as well. And I think that's when the course really just kind of opens up, even from a different standpoint. And we can get into that as we get into hole 9 and 10 as well. But did you have anything to think about 8?
Yeah, I mean, if you hit it too far left, like I did, there's nothing to bring it back.
Yeah, you got to keep it on planet Earth left, though. I would just say the view's sick. It was also a time of the round where we got some conditties for about a 4 or 5 hole round of wind conditties, I should say. But that was whipping, because it was like 235 to the stick. We had just down, it was like 220, but into the wind, we were thinking, it's 240, 245 shot. But yeah, it was a beautiful golf hole, and a good long par 3. Those are hard to pull off. That was a good one.
Yeah, damn right. And I'm running out of vocabulary terms, but 9 is kind of an experience. You crest a hill and you look at 9, you're like, holy shit. It's just a really cool view, and you can see 10 coming back the other way. So it's just a big part. It's a big area, and it just looks absolutely stunning. You can almost talk about, and maybe we don't need to dissect the back as much as we did the front. Maybe I'll just start it by saying I shot 3 under on the back there.
Yeah, you started with I shot 300. So
I'm just going to start with that. That was my moment of the vacation, of the trip. Just 3 solid birdies.
Well, if I could tee one up, I would say 12, because 12 is a drivable par 4 again, uphill, with probably my favorite green on the property. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it was like this 30 yard round. Yeah, what'd you say, kidney bean?
A little bit?
Yeah. But it's got a kidney bean with just there's some obvious mounds on there, but it has all these little like subtle mounds all over the damn thing. And it to me, again, Doak being kind of like the king of the short par 4 too. You have tons of options. Jewel was literally, I would say, 9 inches from glory of dead at the stick.
It was about to be incredible.
It was,
and then I'm in a bunker and I then won 30 yards over the green, but not a big deal.
Yeah, it's
Andrew, you hit a great bunker shot on that hole.
Well, what's fun? So Adam laid up, and he had hit a classic. He probably played the hole how you should. Nippy little shot running back there. Aaron, you and I kind of pulled it, but you pulled it to where it's still a ridiculous shot, and you almost jarred it. We got a good video of that. I was hole high, but you don't know there's hidden bunkers back there.
Yeah.
And it's sloped like this and it's going down. But the cool part about that shot, I literally could have played that probably 4 different ways to get it in that like 5-foot zone. But you and Adam birdied that hole, and from where you were at, like that was tough. But yeah, I thought 12 was just like one of the coolest greens probably I saw for the whole trip, if not the coolest.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had 12 circled on the back nine. 12, 17, and 18, I think, are for me, the hitters.
But by the way, I need to apologize really quick. I'm bragging about what I shot. Who gives a shit what I shoot? Scores, they don't. But what I'm trying to maybe inspire a thought from that is that you can go have a moment at Sedge. It's that kind of course. Like, you'll get rejected sometimes, but you can attack some of these and get some that run right at the hole and like almost make an eagle and then have a birdie. Jewel almost had a hole in one on a cool, because it just kept going and we couldn't, but it ended up an inch from the hole. It's just the kind of course you can have a ton of fun on. That's the point.
Very playable.
Very playable. But also will kick your ass too. Like, you can't, at certain points, but like, be sort of smart about it, be kind of strategic. And yeah.
So, Jewel, you almost had that hole in one on 13. So what was we had a little walk up vid. What was the
I loved 11, 12, 13.
Oh, it's a great stretch.
Great run. But yeah, Jewel.
I didn't think that went in because those guys had hit such a bad ball on 12 that they hit it a million miles left, almost into 13, and they weren't making any noise. So I felt pretty confident it didn't go in. I knew I hit it well. I mean, it might have been a half an inch.
Oh yeah, we got it zoomed
really
in.
freaking close.
It was like inside a ball. Yeah, we couldn't have gotten 2 hole-in-ones for you this year on our 2 golf trips. That would have been
there's still time. We could do something in Pinehurst in December.
Grounds for removal.
Yeah, we can't have all that. So it sounds like so I know we like that closing stretch. The only thing I'd say on 15, the other par 3.
Oh, got to talk about 15.
Yeah, so I think the hole itself it's a cool view and a cool look, but especially with the back right flag. So I think we caught it on the day that made that hole that much cooler. And let's call a spade, guys. Golf's hard. We put our bad golf all the time because they get better clicks, but we play some damn good golf too. 3 of us, Adam, we'll save your comments. So, we can't always go 4 for 4. It was playing 200 yards, and we freaking flagged 3 golf shots of 3 of the best par 3 shots that I've seen this year. It's an intimidating shot, man. I know people, you could bail out way left, but if you're going to go at that flag, you're talking, you're hitting a lot of club into there. And 3 really, really great golf shots that funnel down there. But the cool, again, it's just another par 3, these par 3s were all completely different from each other. That's another thing, like literally in terms of not just distance, but the aesthetic and how you play them, complete variability or variance. And then this one with that back right flag was awesome. But yeah, open for comments outside of just gassing us up of how good we are at hitting golf shots. Adam.
Yeah, as y'all started talking about, I was like, what hole are they talking about? What hole is this? And then it came to me, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And there's a variety of different ways you can play it. You can hit it up on top of the the bank where I was.
The rock outcroppings up there.
Yeah. You got a good chance for up and down there, Yeah. But no, those 3 like for sure world-class golf shots.
But vibes were high.
Boy, I tell you what, Dream Golf, the entire experience at both of the properties I've been to, the par 3s are incredible.
Yeah, just finishing up, we get a few more par 4s, and maybe just talk about 18 really quick because you're kind of looking back up at the clubhouse. Big sort of risk reward. There's this I don't know, what is it? Just like a ridge that kind of cuts into the middle of the fairway. So you either got to try to hit a big cutout right or completely pull your drive left, which is what I did. I couldn't execute that shot if I was trying, but I ended up with an awesome look to the green because it's kind of open.
Very good angle.
There.
Yeah.
It was an insane angle, like 70 yards, and I ended up flagging it and making birdie again. But just another fun little oh shit kind of moment. Yeah, it's a short par 4, but like It's not a giveaway.
Crazy
So-
cool punch bowl green, man. Like
Yeah, it reminded me of 12 a little bit.
Yeah, that punch bowl green, it gives. I mean, it's a cool way to end your round too, right? I know,
Yeah.
Adam, I know you wanted to have some comments on this, but you know, Doak does a good job of keeping you on your heels. It was a pretty cool way to end of like that glory could be there, especially with the funneling of the punch bowl.
Yeah, I mean, usually the 18th hole is just typically kind of like a throwaway hole. I mean, we talk about that a lot with Bandon. Like Bandon doesn't have like out of all their courses, the 18th hole. There's not a great 18th hole out there, but Sedge's 18th, I think, is phenomenal. It's one of those holes that I would love to just go out on and play for like 2 hours because there's just so many different ways that you could play it. Like Aaron said, you could go left and have a great angle, or you could go up top on top of the ridge, or maybe if you're a big hitter, you try to drive the green. There's just so many different outcomes, and it's like just a real thrilling way to end the round.
Yeah. Yeah, so the double birdie came in. Jewel, Aaron closed out me and Adam there. Pretty hard, pretty harsh way of doing it, but no, it was great, man. So with that being said, any closing thoughts, Mr. Golfberg, with that excellent rundown of Sedge Valley?
No, other than if you end up at Sand Valley and have to pick and choose what courses you're playing, just make that your first course. You have to play it. It's phenomenal. Truly unique golf experience and truly fun.
All right. Slam the table on Sedge. Thanks for checking out part 1 of the Sand Valley Golf Resort review. Stay plugged for part 2 dropping next week.